Welcome back to the Kian and Prez show. It is time for week 18 in the NFL, which sadly means 2024 regular season is coming to an end. And I'm, a little bit sad. I'm excited for the playoffs, but I do love my football, so it's getting close to the end. As you can see from our scores, Kian beat me again and is continuing his utter dominance in the picks. He's also doing very, very well. It's not like I'm doing bad. 12-4 is respectable, but I lose every week to my son. So quite humbling. And but we're still going to give you our picks. This week, though, we're going to focus on one game, and it's the Sunday night game. It's the most exciting game of the weekend. I don't recall a game like this in a long time. Last year we had a good Sunday night game. Year before it's good, but this one, two teams that are 14-2 in the same division. It's just, 1 seed or 5 seed. It's pretty ridiculous. One team's going to have an easier path to the Super Bowl. One team's going to have to win 3 road games. So, unless the 6 seed and 7 seed upset someone in the first round, which I highly doubt. But still, most likely going to have 3 road games. Crazy game, and we're talking about the Vikings and the Lions. Faced in Week 6. First matchup in Minnesota. Lions pulled out the victory 31-29. Very, very close. Both had 1 turnover. Both had close to 400 yards. Very, very close game. These rosters, though, a lot different since then. Of course, everybody knows about the Lions' much maligned defense and all their injuries they've had. The Vikings, on the other hand, they lost Shaw after that game. But other than that, the Vikings have stayed pretty healthy. So it'll be pretty interesting to see how things turn out within this game. I'm excited for it. Keenan and I, of course, will be watching. But for me, the game comes down to which defense is going to be played better. And Vikings right now, their defense is playing better. I don't think they have a great matchup against the Lions. I do think the Lions will be able to run the ball on them. But I do think that Flores is going to try to come up with some stuff schematically to really help in the passing game and limit Goff's ability to push the ball down the field. He did get sacked 4 times last game, which I think is his most this year of getting sacked. So I do think the Vikings are going to win this game, and they're going to be my pick. And mainly because I'm going to pick who I think is going to win the Coach of the Year, Kevin O'Connell, to come up with an offensive scheme where he's going to put Sam Darnold in a good position, and they're going to really move the ball well against, like I said, a defense that's struggled. Look for Aaron Jones to have a good game. I think they're going to try to run the football, and I think they'll use him out of the backfield, more screens, more stuff, getting the ball out of Darnold's hands quicker, and just kind of have long drives. But I think the Vikings win this one. I think it'll be close, but I'm picking the Vikings. What about you, Ken?
Yeah, I think this will be a very, very close game, just like the last time these teams faced each other. But that was a while ago, so I think things could change. But I think these teams both have a lot of great parts of their team. I think both of the teams' passing games should do pretty good. But I do think the Vikings have a better passing defense. And their run defense has been a little better than I have expected for the season, but the Lions' run game is better than the Vikings' run defense. Or better than the Vikings' run game. So I think it'll be a close game. I think both teams should be able to match up against each other well, but I do think the Vikings will be able to win. I think they will be able to beat the Lions in the passing game. I think that's where they'll be able to beat the team, and I think they have a healthier defense. And although the Lions have been still playing very good with the injuries that they have sustained, I think they're going to have a lot of trouble against the Vikings and their great receiving room and Sam Darnold and his level of play. I think this will be a close game, and if Sam Darnold makes a few mistakes, or if there's some turnovers, the Vikings could lose. And if the Lions just grind away at the Vikings with the run game, I could easily see Detroit winning. But I do think the Vikings' defense is what is going to allow the team to win this game. So I have Minnesota.
All right. All right, the rest of the schedule is littered with teams that don't need to play anybody or are too bad, and maybe they want to pull people to save the draft pick, which, by the way, doesn't really happen in the NFL, but who knows what teams are going to try to do in Week 18. This is the most like 3-loss teams or 3-win teams we've had in a long, long time. The bottom third of the league is really bad, and it's really unfortunate because this may be the worst draft we've had in the last 5 years. So it's kind of funny. Free agency gonna be wild. Gonna be wild. So for the rest of the games, we're just gonna go over them quickly. I don't want to dive too much into them, and we'll get started with that. First games, 2 games on Saturday. Ravens over the Browns. I don't think this will be close. I think the Ravens get up early. I think the Browns are playing maybe their 4th quarterback this year. It's just the Browns are a disaster. And by the way, them doing that restructure deal with Deshaun Watson just to prove that the deal, because this is what it is. They're making that deal just to prove that the Deshaun Watson deal they made wasn't a mistake. It was a mistake. He's horrible. He's a horrible person. You should just cut him and start over. You should have never signed him. You should have kept Baker. Sorry for the mini rant, but the Browns are a disaster. Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, anybody there, Nick Chubb, please leave Cleveland. Leave there. Your owner is a disaster. Sorry. Kian?
I have Baltimore winning. I think they're a better team overall, and the Browns won't be able to handle their offense or their defense.
Next up, Bengals. I have them beating the Steelers. Steelers might find out they're not going to win the division. They probably want the 5th seed still. But I think the Bengals will win this game, and I don't think it's going to matter for them. They're going to win and not be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think this game will end up being close as Steelers haven't been playing as great recently, but I think they'll find a way to beat the Bengals. I think they care more about this game, and I think their defense, which has been much better than the Bengals overall this season, will be able to get them the win.
Next up, Falcons beat the Panthers. I think Michael Penix will play really good in this game. Give me the Falcons.
Yeah, I thought the game against the Buccaneers was going to be closer with the Panthers, but it ended up not being that close. So I think something similar could happen this game. I think the Panthers could try, and maybe this will be closer, but I still think Atlanta should win.
Next up, Commanders exact some revenge over the Cowboys in Dallas. Who knows what the Cowboys are going to do next year? But who cares?
I have Washington winning. They're better, much always better.
Next up, I have the Packers. What a great way to finish the season for the Packers. Just hand the Bears 11th defeat in a row. Just as a 12th defeat. Maybe it's 12. I don't know. The Bears suck.
Well, I think they're like 4-12 right now.
4-12. So they were 4-2 when they lost to the Commanders. So yeah, I was right. 11th. It'd be their 11th loss in a row.
I'm not sure, but yeah, I think Packers will once again laugh at the Bears as they brutally kick them on the ground.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. I shouldn't laugh because I know how much it makes the Bears fans sad, and they deserve better. But you have a cyclical problem where you hire a head coach and you draft quarterbacks and it doesn't work. So you got to figure it out. And I know you cannot mess up this coach hire. You just cannot mess it up. You have to get it right. Next up, I have the Texans over Titans, mainly because Will Levis is playing. I didn't know the Titans beat the Texans earlier this year, and I'm sure the Texans won't forget about it. So go Texans.
Yeah, Titans have had a weird season, but I still think that they will get revenge and win this game. And the Titans are trying to make sure, or they should try to make sure they can get the highest draft pick possible, but they're probably still going to try to win somehow.
Colts, I think, will beat the Jaguars. I didn't have Shane Steichen on my list of coaches to be fired, but after that performance against the Giants in the Meadowlands last week, where they still had a chance to fight for the playoffs, was shocking. It was absolutely shocking. So maybe an offensive mastermind, but maybe not a head coach. You don't have to be both. You could just be really good at one.
Yeah, I have the Colts winning this game. I think they are the better team overall, and Jacksonville will have a lot of trouble, maybe on purpose. Uh, even
Yes.
though I think the Colts have a bad defense, so but Indianapolis should still should
It's the whole state of Indiana. It's okay.
they should still dominate on offense.
Okay. Bills, Patriots. Patriots have the first overall pick, but Mayo says they're playing everybody. I'm not a huge Patriot guy, obviously. So I kind of want them to win because I don't want them to get a haul for the first overall pick in a really quarterback light draft. If they get their first overall pick, yeah. Anyway, I think the Bills are going to win with Trubisky. He doesn't start the first series because Josh Allen will start the first series, but after that, it's all Trubisky.
Yeah, the last time these teams faced, it was
Closer game
but
2 weeks ago.
yeah. I still think Buffalo will win easily, even though it won't really. This game doesn't really matter that much for the season and the playoffs. I still think they'll, and I don't know how they would lose.
All right, next up, Eagles, Giants. Eagles aren't playing anybody, but it doesn't really matter because the Giants don't have anybody. So I'm picking the Eagles.
Yeah, kind of sad that Saquon Barkley isn't playing, so he doesn't have a chance to break the record, which I think he could against the Giants. But
Yes. But if his offensive linemen are playing, you can't risk him getting hurt. Also,
I think it is the right choice because you don't want him to
Right.
get hurt for the playoffs.
Also, we haven't heard about Jalen Hurts. Is he okay?
And the Eagles are still winning games with Kenny Pickett, and
I know, but still,
I
you hope for the
don't-
playoffs.
I
He's
still
good.
think they'll win.
They're gonna have a tough playoff matchup, whatever they got as a 2 seed. They could, Anyways, um, next up, Buccaneers need to win to get in against their rivals, the Saints, and I think they'll put up 40.
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay should easily win against the Saints, and the Saints offense isn't doing very good at all, and Buccaneers is. So.
Broncos win and they're in. Chiefs not going to play anybody, but do they secretly want to win so that the Bengals? Oh, wait. People forget that the Bengals are the third team to get in. Because if the Broncos lose and the Dolphins win, the Dolphins get in over the Bengals. Why is nobody talking about that?
What?
Yeah. Anyways, Broncos win.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if the Chiefs found a way to win this game.
I mean, Carson Wentz is no slouch.
I still think Denver will try their very best, and if it isn't enough, well, I don't know, but I have Denver.
Chargers have an outside chance if the Bengals beat the Steelers of getting the 5 seed. Easier path, probably. Everybody wants to play the Texans because of the way they've been playing. So the Chargers will beat the Raiders pretty handily, in my opinion.
Yeah, Chargers have been really great this season and the last few weeks after a weird little stretch in the middle there, but I still think I think they win easily. And the Raiders are horrible.
I think the Seahawks will beat the Rams because the Rams are sitting everybody, and Jimmy G is going to play. Look for him to throw 2 picks. The Seahawks are going to end up 10-7, tied with the Rams, same divisional record, and not go to the playoffs because they didn't beat enough good teams. Rough. Very rough.
Yeah, With this game, I mean, it's another hopeful pick for the Seahawks to win for me, as I've done a lot, even when they're against good teams, like the Rams now. But the Rams should lose this game because they've already clinched a playoff spot, and the Seahawks are still trying to win, right? But and if they somehow lose, it'll be their third straight 9-8 season for the Seahawks.
Two teams that are had disappointing years. Dolphins were in playoffs last year. Jets thought they were going to be Super Bowl contenders. To think you're going to be Super Bowl contenders and not lose, have a major injury to only 4 wins, that must be the biggest disappointing season in it. Like, you're not even competing for a playoff spot. You've lost every single way you could possibly think of. The Dolphins at least had, they lost Tua for like 5 weeks, and after he came back, they played better. Maybe if he was around, they win a few of those games and they're easily in a playoff spot. The Jets have no excuse, except for the Jets. Either way, Dolphins win, and again, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, Miami will want to win this game. The Jets have to figure out what they're going to do, and Miami they looked bad at some points, but then they've played well at some points, and they kind of seem like an underdog kind of team. But I think they should win this game pretty easily.
Last game on the docket, 49ers Cardinals. Brock Purdy sitting. Don't think it matters. Kyler Murray sucks. Josh Dobbs for the win. Give me the 49ers.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting seeing Joshua Dobbs playing against the Cardinals.
Good for him.
Yeah, and the 49ers have played well kind of recently. They had a close game against the Lions, and I think if that continues, they should be able to beat the Cardinals pretty easily.
Awesome. Alrighty. That is our picks for Week 18. Enjoy your last Red Zone Sunday. And enjoy that Vikings-Lions game. Gonna be awesome. And next week, we're going to do the playoffs picks. And on the playoff picks, we'll probably do a deep dive into each game because they're playoff games. So, looking forward to that. And looking forward to what the schedule is for Saturday and Sunday next week. So, going to be exciting weekends coming up. We're going to probably do a lot of content after the season is over, what we got right, what we got wrong, maybe some mock drafts, maybe what we think some teams should hire for coaches, some reactions to stuff. I want to do more stuff this off season and keep this channel going throughout the year. So try to still do a video a week and maybe more. Who knows? Depending on what I can get this guy to do. All right. Thanks for watching and see you soon.